everyone and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we are feeling all yellow today. If you're wondering where this dress is from, it is from ASOS. Not sure if it's still available. It is from the curve line. It's actually too big for me. I probably am going to have to get it taken in, but we're all matching. Isn't that cute? And Big Gaz is here as usual, as my filming buddy. And today we're going to be talking to you about pets that I have no interest in owning. Nowadays, depending on which country you're in, and as long as you have like your license or whatever you need to have these things, you can have a whole array of things. I have seen some really hideous things for sale on like exotic animal websites. Things like alligators and like crocodiles and stuff. Like, fair enough if you have the space for them or you're running like a zoo or something like that. However, if you're a regular person and you can get hold of these things and you do not know what you're doing, it's really irresponsible and really dangerous. I've also seen things like meerkats. You can just buy a single meerkat. Everyone knows that these guys live in groups in the wild. That would be hideously unfair, and they kind of they would rip up your house and tear it up. I just don't understand some of these things. So although those things I feel are fairly obvious things that I would never be having as a pet, I wanted to talk to you about some other things that maybe a lot of people on here have themselves, or you might have seen other pet tubers and people kind of having as pets that I just kind of have no interest in. The first thing that I'm going to talk to you about are big snakes. I love snakes. It is definitely not a fear thing for me. I really enjoy snakes. I think they are really misunderstood. I think they're beautiful creatures, and I think you can get a wide variety of really amazing species that you can keep and that are really manageable. The ones that I'm talking about are the big kind of boa constrictor types that you can get, or like reticulated pythons, things like that. The ones that get really massive. We're talking over like 6-7 feet and above. That kind of stuff just really doesn't interest me. Not only do I think that they are kind of less manageable on a just single person level, from a handability point of view, I feel like, especially as I go away often, I would not want to be responsible for something that other people would really struggle with as well, from a point of fear, or as I said before, like handleability. Also, when you're getting that kind of size, the food that they eat kind of goes up in size as well, and that's just something that I don't particularly want to have to deal with. When you're kind of using guinea pigs and like big rabbits and stuff like that, that's the point at which like it makes me uncomfortable to be feeding. I accept that it's part of nature and that's what they require, but I'm not someone that wants to experience that, and therefore I just wouldn't bother getting one. The size is unmanageable, their enclosure has got to be a decent size. I don't think other people that I kind of socialise with would like knowing that one that big was close by, and I just feel like it's personally an unmanageable size for me. Coupled with that is that I don't actually own a snake. My boyfriend used to have a royal python, which he rehomed due to a change in circumstance for him. So he really doesn't mind snakes. He's had one before. I have not, and I would really like to. I quite fancy something like a royal python because of their good temperament and fairly kind of easy manageability, besides the hunger striking obviously, or something perhaps like a king snake, or maybe a Kenyan sand boa, that kind of size. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is another reptile. Now this one I'm kind of torn because I do think they're beautiful, but again, just from a point of being a responsible owner and responsible for the things that you take into your care, this is something that just will never fit with my lifestyle, and that a lot of people kind of buy on a whim, don't realise how big they get, and then panic, or they are sold in mainstream pet shops as well. Again, the kids see them, they go, oh, I'd like that one, it's cute and it's small and it's green. Bet you can guess it's the green iguana. They get massive. Males get slightly bigger than females, I believe. The size span goes from about 4 foot, that would be considered fairly small, to 6, maybe 6.5 feet. That is massive. These guys require big enclosures. They like to climb as well, so you're going to need some width so that they can turn around and walk around in their enclosure, and you're also going to need a significant amount of height. We're talking 6-7 foot of height or something to that. Obviously when you first get these guys, you're not going to need massive enclosures. You're still going to need a fairly decent size. You're talking sort of bearded dragon at least size, because as I said, they climb, they need space to run around as well. But unless you go straight in with something of like adult appropriate size, you're going to have to be replacing this when they get bigger. I just think it's quite costly. Once you get to certain sizes with all animals, the cost of feeding that animal and taking care of it significantly increases, and not only is that a cost thing, but I just think again the size is unmanageable. It's not something that frightens me. You know, any of these that are more to do with their size and manageability, it's not a fear thing. I don't mind big things. I would love to have like a monitor or something like that, or a tegu, but for my living arrangements and my work life and everything like that, there comes a point where you just have to be responsible, and it's just not something that I have an interest in trying to make work when it doesn't really suit my lifestyle. The next one, as I've just mentioned, are any kind of big monitors or tegus. I love the Argentine black tegu. I think they're beautiful. Again, like they have quite a pretty good temperament as well. They're quite sort of chilled, relaxed lizards, and any kind of big monitors, which, can you not eat my hair, please? He's always doing that. It's right next to my ear and he makes these cute little like sounds, but can we not? Thanks, bud. He's been really good today. He's very cute looking. Okay, I've said that and now he's blatantly gonna go like climb on top of my head or something. Anyway, any kind of big monitor lizards, we're talking about savannah monitors, stuff like that, really cool. Would absolutely love to get one, but to be honest, it's just not practical, feasible for my lifestyle, and it wouldn't be fair. And I always try and make sure that any animals that I would be bringing into my home are ones that, unless there was a complete change of circumstance that was unexpected, are ones that are going to stay with me and, you know, until the end of their life. The next thing that I have to talk to you about are farm animals in general. Anything like horses, pigs, goats, that kind of sheep, that kind of things. You know, they require a lot of care. They're very expensive to look after. They require a lot of space, a lot of kind of greenery and stuff to graze on, kind of mucking out, that kind of thing. They're a little bit more complicated to look after. I'm not interested. I feel like those kind of animals are kind of bigger animals that require a lot of space and things, and I'm not into it. I love horses. If I was made of money and if I was made of money and, you know, I had access to like fields and land and stuff, and someone to help out look after them and things, then maybe I would get a horse. I did a lot of horse riding when I was younger and into my sort of late teens. However, it's just not something that I've kept up, and it's not something that I really have an interest in ever kind of having myself. Goats and stuff, just not that interested in them. I think they're really cute, but I don't really see them as like a pet. I feel like they're not things that I would just be particularly interested in having in my life. Quite fancy maybe doing like ducks or chickens or something. I think they're really cool, and obviously that means you can have like fresh eggs, and that's pretty funky. But as far as like farmyard animals in general go, it's just really not my bag. It's not that I don't like them, it's just that I don't feel like I'd want to keep them as pets. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about are small mammals. The only exceptions to these are rats and mice. Like, I really quite fancy having a couple of rats or mice. I don't think that I would, especially as I know that rats are super intelligent and they require a lot of your time daily. I've seen some really cool training videos. If you guys are subscribed to Shadow the rat. If you're not, definitely go and check her out. She does some she keeps rats, and she does some amazing training videos teaching them how to kind of fetch her things, put little balls in basketball hoops, like weaving in and out of cones and stuff, you know, how to back up and do all these really funky things. And it just shows like they're not these kind of vermin that we should just, ugh, they're gross. They're actually really sweet, clever, intelligent beings that we should kind of have a little bit more respect for and maybe a little bit less fear. So I really like rats. I really like mice as well. I just always have. I don't know why. I just think they're really adorable. But again, don't know whether they're so kind of practical for me to have. Hamsters, guinea pigs, rabbits. Rabbits I'll get onto in a second. Hamsters, I feel like for the enjoyment and the lifespan, you kind of need quite a big enclosure. Huge misconception that you can keep them in a tiny wire cage and all this kind of stuff. I'll happily do a video on animals that are commonly like maybe not intentionally neglected if you'd be interested in seeing that. I'm just not into them. I feel like it's a typical kind of like kiddie starter pet that is like often people do it wrong anyway, but I just don't, I'm not that fussed about them. I don't think they're horrible and I don't really love them either. They're really cute and small and fluffy, but I'm more of a reptile person as you can see. I like all things, to be honest, like all animals, and insects pretty much. The only thing I'm not a massive fan of are spiders. We'll get on to that shortly. Yeah, and as for guinea pigs, again, not that fussed about them. They're really cute, they're sweet, but again, they need like big enclosures and things. I'm just... You're going to fall off. He's so cute, I just can't be annoyed. Yeah, guinea pigs, again, same as hamsters, not really that fussed about. Don't particularly love them, don't particularly dislike them. I think they're really cute and fluffy and small, and I'm sure, you know, their little squeaky noises are adorable, but I'm just not that fussed. And therefore, like, if I'm not like totally in love with something or really fascinated by something, I don't see the point in keeping one as a pet. I know plenty of people who've had, you know, small mammals, rabbits, guinea pigs, that kind of thing in the past. When I was growing up as a teenager, a lot of my friends had those as pets. I'm just not that bothered by them, to be honest. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is rabbits. Related to small mammals, I kind of classify them as a small mammal as well, but they are really complicated creatures to look after. I had 2 rabbits about 10-11 years ago. I probably didn't look after them as well as I should do. I've recently been following Lennon the bunny. I'll try and link her channel up here. I can't remember the name of the lady that actually does the channel, but she makes a wonderful channel on rabbits and rabbit care, and just through following different pet tubers who keep these, I've kind of discovered that maybe I didn't look after my rabbits as well as I should have. I had 2 Netherland dwarf rabbits called Lenny and Fletch. If anyone is of an older generation watching this, or like me, a younger generation, but knows of the British, is it like it's not really a sitcom, like a comedy show called Porridge. It was set in a prison. I can't remember the dates, I mean it's really old. Then you might remember Lenny Godber and Fletcher, who are the 2 guys that are in prison. So my rabbits were named after that. Lenny was the girl and Fletch was the boy. So I had them, I probably didn't look after them as well as I should have, and now I know so much more about keeping rabbits. They are really not beginner or kid friendly pets at all unless you have a responsible adult making sure that they're taken care of properly. They need a lot of space, they need a constant supply of hay. You know, you have to keep an eye on their teeth and things, keep up with their jabs and stuff. You can get things like myxomatosis. A lot of these things I was aware of before when I had them, but a lot of them that may have had an impact on their lifespan I wasn't aware of, and I'm really ashamed of that. But that just shows, like, you grow up, you do your research, and it's so important to not just kind of take advice from people in pet stores or things that maybe aren't experts. Really do a lot of your own research and just make sure you're looking after things properly. The next thing that I have to talk about are spiders. I hate spiders. Spiders are the one thing that I cannot deal with, that make me really kind of give me the heebie-jeebies, that I really dislike, I don't think are good pets, and freak me out entirely. Any other creepy crawlies, scorpions, cockroaches, you know, as we've discussed, like lizards, snakes, none of that bothers me. Really fascinated by them. Quite fancy having a millipede. I've had praying mantis as pets in the past. I'm just not a fan of spiders. I don't like that they have too many legs. I don't like that they're furry. I don't like that they're fast. I appreciate that they have their place in the ecosystem, but it's just really not something that I am a fan of or would want to bring into my home. The last thing that I have to talk to you about are fish. I have nothing against fish. I think they're really cool and they look absolutely beautiful, but I feel like fish are one of those things where it's all about like dealing with the water for me. You have to make sure like all the levels of everything, the pH and everything is nice. You have to do a water change. There's lots of sort of equipment involved depending on what you're keeping in the fish tank. You need certain sizes and things. I feel like fish care is something that could go horribly wrong very quickly, and I feel like it's kind of tricky if you're a newbie and someone that's not that fussed, but it's just not something that I see it being quite complicated from an outsider point of view who's never kept fish, and it's not something that I am that kind of bothered about to learn and make sure I get right because I'm desperate to have one. So that wraps up this video today from me and Gaz. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the thumbs up button if you have. Click that subscribe button if you're not part of the Jane's family. Don't forget to check out my beauty channel. I'll link it up here somewhere if you have not seen it. And we will see you in the next one. Please let me know if there are any animals that I've mentioned in here not wanting that you actually have at home, because I'd love to hear if you have a different experience from maybe my reasoning for not wanting one. I will see you in the next one. Big love from me, Gaz and Fred, who is fast asleep in his tank over there, and we will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.